Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and today we're taking a look at the 1968 Renault 4L Export. Now, the main production run of this car was from 1961 to 1992, although it continued up until 1994 in Slovenia, also known as Yugoslavia at the time, and over 8 million of these were produced over that 30 plus year lifespan. And yeah, this was a couple of firsts for Renault and the car industry in general, as it was Renault's first front-wheel drive family car, but it was also the world's first mass-produced hatchback. And yeah, 1968 brought a couple of changes in. It finally got a new aluminium grille, which made it a far more modern looking vehicle, and more crucially it got a 4-speed gearbox, which yeah, is definitely something that was needed, because it's only got a small engine and a 3-speed was absolutely useless. So yeah, they finally gave it a 4-speed, and yeah, this is a simple, cheap, and you know, easily affordable car. And so yeah, don't get expecting lavish interior or anything like that. It's all extremely practical. The little lever there under the Renault name is for the ventilation. There's a little flap on the front under the windscreen, and yeah, you've got your gear lever up there. A really weird design that I probably would fail instantly trying to use it, but yeah, it's all simple, but it's all there. It's everything that you could need just for getting from A to B. And yeah, because it's got a semi-monocoque chassis, it means that the roof is taking less of the stress of the car in terms of the structure. So despite being quite a small car, due to the really rather thin windowsills, it's actually looks a lot bigger in here than it actually is. So yeah, that's a really good design on Renault's part there. It does only have sliding windows, doesn't even have a hand crank, but again, it's all about being lightweight and yeah, cheap and usable on a day-to-day basis. And there's the hatchback, which is yeah, really rather large. It's got a really nice wide opening, and yeah, also really rather plenty of space in there as well. Also a nice flat floor as well, because it is front wheel drive, so you've got no rear gubbings going in on there. But it is far more sophisticated than it might well look. Like I said, it not only has a semi-monocoque chassis, but it's also got independent suspension front and rear. And due to its yeah, natural high ride height, and it's really rather good suspension, which not only is meant for comfort but also ride quality, it's also was capable of doing some good stuff in motorsport. As a 4-wheel drive version, came 5th in 1979 and 3rd in 1980 in the Paris-Dakar Rally. So yeah, that is mightily impressive, to be honest, for what is at the end of the day a cheap economy car that isn't meant to last. But yeah, still really good showing in that regard. And yeah, where it's kind of weaker is in terms of under the hood. If you're expecting performance, then look elsewhere, as it's only got a 0.75 litre inline-4 engine, producing 27 horsepower and 41 pounds-feet of torque. So yeah, this isn't going to set any speed records or anything like that, but it no doubt was a dependable engine, as it's a water-cooled engine as well, unlike some other vehicles that were in this kind of class, which were air-cooled. Yeah, I'm really glad Renault went for a water-cooled engine, because there's plenty of air-cooled small cars out there, so to have a water-cooled one was again a rather innovative thing to have going. So yeah, I really do like this car. It's part of the barn finds. It's a 14th one. You have to buy a house to get it, but it's only 150,000 credits, the house itself. And yeah, really glad this is in the game. It's currently the oldest Renault that we've ever had on a Forza game, although this will eventually be trumped by 1 year when the 8 Gordini comes out in the car pass. But yeah, still, I really do like this car. And yeah, let's get out onto the open world and see what it can do. So yeah, we aren't going to be drag racing or going around a track in this, because obviously it's not a particularly quick car, but then again it was never meant to be. So yeah, we're just going to take it on some road and off-road elements on the open world map, because yeah, this has a really go anywhere kind of approach going for it, because yeah, it's got really good ground clearance, like I said, and it's more than capable of dealing with some off-road elements, especially since it doesn't weigh very much. It only weighs 1,310 pounds, so you don't have much weight to deal with as well. So yeah, even though it's, you know, far from the quickest of vehicles, at least it doesn't have a lot of weight to lug around, and because it has an independent suspension front and rear, you can really hoon this around and just be confident that it's going to deal with it in fine style. So yeah, 0 to 60 though is dealt with in 30.126 seconds, and it has a top speed of 65. Now you could granted get bigger engine versions of this, because this was sold all over the world, from Colombia to Australia, like I said, Slovenia, and yeah, and Mexico as well. It was built in Mexico, which is probably why it's on this game. But yeah, it's pretty much a world car in a lot of ways. Maybe one of the first kind of world cars, because yeah, like I said, it's got a go anywhere approach, and with that soft suspension, which is able to absorb any bumps while, you know, not transferring it to anyone inside. Despite looking as lightweight and as fragile as it is, it's yeah, quite a tough vehicle, and according to this game, it was apparently used as an ambulance in Mexico, which doesn't give me the greatest of hope, considering it's you know, not the fastest of vehicles, but no doubt it was a dependable one. And yeah, due to the way that the rear suspension was made, as it's got torsion beams in the rear, it's not all longitudinal, it's one in front of the other, so one wheel is actually slightly further back than the other. I think it's the right wheel that is further back slightly than the other. Not by a huge amount, I think it's only like millimetres, but that's just another quirk of Renault, making it as cheap and as usable as possible. So yeah, I really do like this. This is more of the kind of vehicle that I want on a game like this. Yes, I'm fine with fast cars, expensive cars, more powerful vehicles, but I do like slower, more, you know, mass-produced vehicles like this. We had plenty of them in the previous game, either as barn finds or in the base game. So I hope that this is you know, going to be replicated in with future cars in either the car pass or in the 2 expansions that are going to come out. That will no doubt have more cars to them, because yeah, there's so many great cars like this that that really we haven't had before in a Forza game. The Renault Dauphine is another one that I really would like to have on a game like this, because it's kind of basically like a Carmen Gear before a Carmen Gear was a thing. But it's also a 4-door saloon, because it's got the engine in the rear, it's air cooled, but the engine is bigger than it is in this, and yeah, in terms of looks, it looks even better. But I do on the whole like the look of this car. I think it looks rather adorable in a kind of way, and it's certainly the kind of thing that you can grow to enjoy. And it was given numerous nicknames around the world in terms of, you know, what they were calling it as a car. It was a faithful friend, I think it was called in Colombia. I can't remember the actual language name that it was called, but that was what it was translated to on in my research. And yeah, that's just is kind of what this is really. It's a faithful old friend. It's always going to be there, it's dependable, and yeah, you never really would want to get rid of it. Not sure how many of these still exist, considering, you know, like I said, it's a cheap economy car, but more than 8 million, there surely should be plenty of them still around. But yeah, either way, really glad this is on the game, and hopefully we get more of this kind of vehicle, because yeah, I do really like them. And yeah, it's probably my favourite of the barn finds, to be honest. Oh, the handbrake doesn't seem to be working. I'll reverse it. But yeah, like I said, this is probably my favourite of the barn finds, because it's one of only 4 that we've had in the game that we haven't had in a Forza game before, which is a shame, but I'll get onto that in another video. But yeah, regardless, get out there and find this in the barn find. It will hopefully surprise you in how fun it can be. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.